Good morning, Practical Magic. Good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy Witchy Wednesday. I'm coming to you live this morning. Good morning, good morning. This always says my internet connection is slow. So I'm assuming I am live. I'm assuming I am alive. I am live. Oh, it says you're now live. Welcome to Practical Magic. How is your week going? Oh my gosh. An amazing week here with new grandbabies in the world. Cannot complain about that at all. Little Sophia and Snow are in the world, and we are so happy about that. And I get to go spend the day over there today to support Megan and love on sweet Sophia until Snow gets to come home too. So lots of stuff going on. So I wanted to jump in here today on this Witchy Wednesday and remind you to make every day magical and talk a little bit about It's Just a Story. For those of you who have ever done any tapping with me, have done any EFT tapping, you know that we do go through the negative and what's present for you in the moment. And I use negative loosely, right? The emotions that you're feeling now, the stories, the experience you're having, the meaning that you're giving those experiences. And I always, after you release some of that emotion, at least down to a 5 or 4 or 3, then I start to turn it around and I say, it's just a story, but maybe this is just a story. And it's a lousy story. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because understanding that in every experience, every circumstance that you're having in your life, you are telling yourself a story, right? You're making up a story around it. We can look, there's so many ways to look at this, but we can suppose you send a text message to someone and they don't respond right away, or they respond a certain way. We make up a story about that. What did they mean? Why aren't they responding to us? And it triggers our own emotions, right? If you don't get that response and you have abandonment fears or rejection fears, which most people do, then we go into that story. We're rereading our past text. Did I say something wrong? Could it have been misconstrued? Right? We're looking at that because we are making a story. We're making up a story through our filter of our past experiences. And it's all just a story. We also make up stories about other people, right? Like, why did they do that? What were they thinking? I know in my experience in my younger years, actually when I divorced my last husband, when I went through a divorce, I didn't share with people why we were getting a divorce or anything like that. And there were even family members I didn't share that with, but I didn't have to share anything. They were making up their own stories about our marriage, even though they were hundreds of miles away and all of that. I'm sure you can relate. Now, several years back, when I did a soul profile and clearing for a client, and she had done the tapping with me, and we had talked about things being just stories, and I was sharing with her the results of her soul profile and clearing. And she goes, well, you say that everything is just a story. How do I know this is reality and not just a story? Wow, that was a great question. It was a great question, right? And I love how she totally took this, took it deeper, right? And that's what I really wanted to talk to you about, is that everything is just a story, right? Even the information that I get access to from the Akashic records is only a part of the story, and it's just a piece of it. And you can take that information and make up a whole story. The point is the story you're telling yourself serving you? Is it supporting you? Or is it harming you? Right? When we go into the story that my childhood should have been different. Like the experience I should have had is different. I should have been raised differently, or whatever the story may be. Does that serve you? Does it support you? Or does it actually drag you down? And I would say it drags you down. I've talked about this in my lives in the past about letting go of the idea that your childhood should have been any different, because that keeps you chained to it. That keeps you in a victim role, in the victim mindset. So the stories you're telling yourself, do they keep you as a victim, or do they empower you? Do they disempower or empower you? Because it's all stories. In fact, I had a conversation with a client last week, and she said those words. She goes, "This is the reality of it." And I'm like, wait. There is no reality of it. The reality is what you make. And all of the timelines exist. And there's a timeline and there is a direction that you go when you're telling yourself stories around being victimized. And that means even in this in this now moment, if you're driving down the highway and somebody cuts you off, do you go into victim? Are you triggered? Are you angry? Right? Or do you see it as an opportunity to be more loving? How do you react? Because we're always reacting either out of power or victim, power or victim, power or victim. So if your story is, oh my gosh, nothing ever goes my way, that's just a story. And you can shift that story, even though when it seems like things aren't going your way, it's simply that you can't see how they're going your way right now. Like your expected trajectory is not occurring. And so you may say, things aren't going my way, but that's just a story. They are going your way. They're going exactly the way they need to go to awaken you to another awareness, right? So you're constantly, it's all a story. And you choose your reality by the stories you tell yourself. There's no solid reality. Like, oh, this is reality. You have multiple timelines and they're all available to you. Some timelines may be closer than others. You may need to make greater shifts emotionally, mentally, frequency-wise to align with particular timelines. But all of that is about the stories you tell yourself. All of that. So all of those timelines are available. And aligning yourself with a timeline is happening by the stories you tell yourself in every moment. So it's not just looking at the past, and it is absolutely looking at the stories you're telling yourself right this moment, because those are the same stories you tell yourself about your past too, but the clues are right in front of you. So absolutely, it is all just a story, and you get to align with the storyline, timeline that brings you the greatest joy, that activates more joy. And how you do that is creating more joy now. If you didn't watch the video yesterday from the live hot seat, that is another great example around the stories we tell ourselves. Like, I want to make more money, or I have to get it right. Those are all stories. And our stories either project us in the direction that we want to go, or in the direction we don't want to go. But it's entirely up to us. And I'm going to be teaching more deeply around choosing timelines, affecting timelines, becoming a resonant match to the timeline you desire in each and every moment through the High Priestess Living program. 3 months, 90 days, total immersion program, and activating the High Priestess within you. I was called to do this. I am being called to do this, to shift women from the patriarchal timeline into the high priestess timeline. What is a high priestess? Well, you get to show up in your life as a high priestess any way you want. But here's the bottom line of what you understand. A high priestess truly understands and trusts her own power, really recognizes I am powerful and I am affecting the outer world with my ritual, with my thoughts, with my declarations, with my proclamations. And that is what I'm getting you to in the High Priestess Living Program. Reclaiming your power from the different ways that the different programs on earth that we set in place, that we wanted to come here and feel, have the experience of being what we are not. We are naturally powerful. We are naturally divine. We know our power to affect change at a higher level. We came into the physical world to have a different experience, and now we're awakening from that. And I've been called to activate your remembrance of your divinity, calling back your power, understanding the history of women, which is empowering in itself, and then utilizing ritual in powerful ways to create what you want in your life. So Tori is going to pop in the calendar link. Hop on my calendar. Let's chat. See if the High Priestess Living Program is for you. October through December. The last group call in December will be the third week of December. So we'll be complete with the group calls before the end of December, but I will be available to answer questions, guide you. We will be doing some special stuff around the Yule, some special rituals around the Yule, and you will have my coaching in the private Facebook group through December. But if December is like a really busy time for you, don't worry about that, because our group calls will be finished before the Christmas holiday, and you will be set up for 2022 in activating the year you truly want and the shifts and what you want to create in 2022, because we're going to amplify your power, activate your power. And what happens when I do this kind of work with women is that if you're not clear about your highest path and purpose or your mission, that becomes very clear. It becomes very clear as you become a clear conduit for your work. So I hope to meet you. I hope to see you on my calendar and get to talk to you face to face on Zoom and get to know you and see if the High Priestess Living Program is right for you. All right, everyone, have an amazing Witchy Wednesday, and I will see you later. Thanks for tuning in.